you get that kind of patina over time when something's been used to cut on, like an old butcher's chopping block or something that's been used for half a century, and it kind of gets that undulation. Hey guys, welcome back to TRW Pizza. As you know, I'm a pizza making enthusiast, not a professional. I've been making pizzas at home, learning from scratch basically for the past 8 months or so. Super passionate about it, and today people keep on asking me about what products I use and what I recommend and what's useful, so I thought I'd do a video on that specifically. I've got a bunch of stuff here which I use each and every time I make pizza, and I'll go through one by one. If you find this kind of content useful, please subscribe. It's really great to see when people provide that kind of support and positive comments and things like that. So anyway, without any further ado, let's get on with it. In no particular order, although I will start with the Ooni Karu 16. In terms of a product, I mean, as you'll see, most of my videos now, well, all of my videos for the past few months have been using this Ooni Karu 16. The only other thing I've ever made pizzas with is with my home oven using a pizza stone, which was a great foray into the process, and kind of I got to understand bits and pieces about how it worked, and it piqued my interest, but I knew I couldn't really get to the level I wanted to unless I had a specific pizza oven. And that's when I got the Ooni Karu 16. I've never looked back. I absolutely love it. I make consistently good pizzas on it. I understand some of the nuances about how to manage the temperature and the kind of zoning on the stone itself. And yeah, all I can say is I highly recommend it. I haven't tried any other pizza ovens, so I can't comment on any other ones. But yeah, it's a great product. Next, let's go for this. I actually bought this on the day I bought the Karu 16 as well. It's the Ooni turning peel. So it's a rather nifty little device. The handle's not too long. Obviously, you don't need a professional length or grade turning peel. I'm not reaching into a 12-foot deep Italian, Napolitan style brick oven. I'm reaching into this. So essentially, this is long enough to get in there, keep me a bit of distance away from it if the oven's very hot and I don't want to get too close, but also have allows me great dexterity to get in exactly where I need it to, and it's very light. I must have used this now, let's say, on 100 different bakes or sessions. You can see it looks absolutely great, no degradation. Looks good as new, to be honest. Very comfortable, nicely weighted. I always notice with everything that Ooni make, the quality is very good in terms of the components. This is seems like plastic in the handle, but it doesn't feel cheap. It feels solid and got a good weight to it. What can I say? I mean, if you can make pizza without a turning peel. You can basically use a peel like this, basically, to once the pizza's in there, you then get the pizza back out halfway through and turn it on top of this. However, it's not the optimal way of doing it, in my opinion, because it doesn't give you quite the same level of fine tuning that you might want. For example, you might just want to just get this under very, very briefly, lift it, check the bottom, and turn it 20 degrees for whatever reason. Maybe you see a carbonated patch starting to develop on the back left of the pizza. This just allows that dexterity. If you use a big peel like that, it's going to be a problem or more of a challenge. So yeah, highly recommend this. It's I think I would struggle to keep the level of quality on my pizzas and maintain less burning without this product. Next up, let's do these two together. So I've got the BOSKA cutting wheel. It's hand in hand with this. If you see my Instagram page, TRW Pizza, on Instagram, you'll see a lot of my pizzas are based on this. It's a kind of pair that I bought together. It wasn't actually in a set, but I just thought that I really like the color, I like the quality. This thing's very, very sharp. I'm very happy with the way it's served me so far. I've had it for about 4 months, maybe longer. And yeah, suffice to say, it cuts pizza well, and I'm happy with it. The board itself is very nice. I can tell it's quality. It says, "Hi, sliced to meet you. BOSKA made me out of 100% European oak wood, so wash me by hand and oil me regularly. Let me dry vertically so that I can breathe on both sides. This way I'll be yours forever. BOSKA.com." And it says SML, mine is highlighted L, so I believe I've got the large one. And yeah, it's just great. I love it when you get that kind of patina over time when something's been used to cut on, like an old butcher's chopping block or something that's been used for half a century, and it kind of gets that undulation on it. That's what I love. And this is starting to get that way a little bit in a very nice way. So these are great. I mean, when I first started making pizza, yes, I did used to have just them on a normal like vegetable chopping block and using a knife, and it works fine. But you know, there's a certain je ne sais quoi about having the right tool for the job, and for me, these have worked great. Haven't tried any others, but they work very well. The peel I use, I've already talked about this. Very simple one. It's I don't even really know what brand it is, but it's served me very well. It's a basic wooden, kind of looks like plywood. It's about just shy of a centimeter thick. It's got this little ramp on it here, so it just helps a little bit with getting under the pizza. I am going to be upgrading this sometime soon to either the Ooni peel or one of the metal GI peels. It's an Italian company where they're just made out of metal. They're thinner. They've got holes for the flour to fall through, and that is that'll happen when I next have the opportunity to purchase it. But very, very happy with this. It's probably launched in the region of 350 pizzas, and apart from some charring, which is completely inevitable, it's done great. So I would suggest that it is very difficult to manage the delivery of pizzas into a pizza oven without a purpose-made peel. I used to do it. I've got a video actually. Maybe I'll put it on here. I used to do it with an upturned cooking tray, and it, go like this, and it would be completely ill-designed for the job. It's got a big lip on it, obviously when it's upside down, so it's not flat against the stone in the oven when it went in, and it was a challenge. But you know, that's how you learn, and all good. Next up, okay, this thing, I absolutely love it. It's a handmade, artisanal from Naples cruet. It's got olive oil in there. Beautiful, beautiful thing. Obviously not mass produced. I believe tin. Could be wrong about that, but it's not too big. Obviously, a professional pizza restaurant would have a bigger one, so they don't have to top it up as much. This is, I believe, is 25 centiliters, and it basically just it's really useful because it's got this small spout on it, which allows a controlled deployment of the oil. If it was a bigger spout, the oil would kind of gloop everywhere because you don't know exactly where the oil is in the spout as you start to pour it. But it doesn't matter with this because as soon as it starts coming out, it doesn't come out too fast because it's thin, and it's really nice. I've been using that now since my birthday, so I've had it about a month. Previously I was using this kind of a kitchen grade plastic olive oil dispenser. Did the job very well, but let's face it, what's prettier? I mean, this, in my humble opinion, I love it. So not absolutely necessary, obviously, but something to have a controlled deployment of olive oil is necessary, I would say. What's next? Okay, so this is the Ooni Infra Red Thermometer. It comes in this little pouch as well, which can go on your belt. I don't use that, but kind of handy if you're. I'm sure if you're out in a big, busy environment and you're feeding a lot of people and you've got multiple ovens going on at the time. You don't want to be searching around for stuff. You can just have this kind of holstered on your hip, and you pull it out, and of course, it works in a very easy fashion. Basically, what you do is you got the trigger, and You press the trigger and it tells you, if you can see this, the temperature of whatever the red dot lands on. Here, if I put my hand up, you can see the red dot hits the skin and tells you what the temperature is. So you obviously hit the stone of the pizza in the part that you want to know how hot it is, and it tells you instantly, either in centigrade or Fahrenheit. And I'll be honest, this is a bit of a game changer when you first get the Ooni, because you can't judge exactly how hot it is, obviously, and you can get this thing too hot and you can scorch your pizzas, so you need to make sure it's not that hot. This helps you kind of calibrate this in your own mind. Okay, I now know that on full flame this gets to about 490 degrees after 25 minutes. Then I turn it down for 5 minutes to low flame and it will be about 435 degrees Celsius. At that point I know I can wash my pizza. After I make my first pizza, I know the temperature will have come down to about 400 degrees Celsius. At that point, I'll put the flame back up and it will get back up to 430 after about 5 minutes. That kind of process that you need to work through enough times to get that natural feel for it. And then after a while, you don't become too reliant on this all the time. But it's very, very helpful to get that level of kind of confidence and understanding of the process. This is the box for it. It says, instantly measure the exact temperature of your Ooni pizza oven for a perfectly cooked pizza every time. Aim the laser pointer onto the stone baking board inside for a quick, accurate reading up to a super high 1022 degrees Fahrenheit or 550 degrees Celsius. Features a built-in laser for precise measurement, backlit LCD screen for easy reading, automatic power shutoff, temperature readings in either Fahrenheit or Celsius, max temp 1022 Fahrenheit or 550 Celsius, min temperature minus 26 Fahrenheit, minus 32 Celsius, 2 AAA batteries included, holster included. Cool, like it. Okay, so this is another Ooni product. I buy Ooni products just simply because that's the oven I have and I'm a big fan of it. Great outside noise there, just apologies for that. And this dough cutter is actually a real surprise. It's one of those things that you kind of don't know you need it until you need it. It's kind of one of those things it's kind of one of those things you don't know you needed it until you get it, and then you realize you needed it. Because what happened was, I spent an inordinate amount of time trying to find the right spatula stroke dough cutters. So what happens is, as most of you will know, excuse me, you build up your dough into, say, a ball that's going to be cut into 6 balls or whatever, dough balls. And what happens is you get to the point where you stretch out the dough that's going to be cut up, and then you have to choose what are you going to use to cut it up with. A sharp knife is not ideal, because what happens with a sharp knife is that if you've got your dough ball here, the big bit of dough that you're going to break into the different dough balls, it's obviously got quite a lot of depth to it. A sharp knife, you start to cut through it. It cuts and separates the dough. And as the knife goes through, it starts to close up again on the part of where the knife is no longer, because it's going down, so it gets caught up here. So you get to a point where you're getting uncleanly cut dough balls, which is not the end of the world, but it's annoying and it can slow down the process and make it a bit fiddly, and sometimes when it gets stuck back together and it doesn't keep that nice shape you want. And basically, then I bought this and I went, aha, that is why people have dough cutters specifically as a tool rather than just a spatula or a knife. I actually used a paint wallpaper stripping spatula for a while because that's all I could get hold of. It was a time when all of this kit was very hard to get hold of for obvious reasons over the past couple of years. And that spatula was kind of okay, but it wasn't wide enough. This is great. Ow, that actually hurt because it's quite sharp. This is great because it's got that width to block off the entire dough ball. Bam, you're through it. It's not going to close up anywhere. It's through. You separate the other dough, and your dough ball is done, and then you move on to cut your next dough. Bam, 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 easy. It's almost like a blade. I mean, it's definitely pretty sharp, and it cuts through the dough very easily. The other thing I really like about it, it's got weight to it. So this handle is a very solid material. It's some form of plastic, I'd guess, but it adds weight, so you don't have to apply much force at all for it to go through the dough ball. Just kind of go chop, and it's through, done, clean, nice, elegant. That's what I'm after in my cooking. Elegant and simple tools for the job, and that is it. It's not in your face, it's not like garishly branded or anything, it's just there, ready to go. Really recommend this. Again, not absolutely 100% necessary to have a dough cutter, but gives you a big edge if you do. Sorry for the unintentional pun there, but sometimes that happens. And for anyone who's interested, by the way, here's the box that it came in. I keep boxes of these things for some reason because, you know, I'm semi-OCD or whatever. Maybe not even semi. Move it, divide it, clean it up. Working with the pizza dough can be a sticky business. Turn bulk-proof dough onto your work surface with ease and portion it with precision using the Ooni dough scraper featuring a firm stainless steel edge and easy grip handle. Dishwasher safe. Stainless steel and glass reinforced nylon on the handle. 6-inch 15 cm stainless steel blade. There you go. Love it. Next up, another spatula. So it's funny. Never thought I'd be so interested in spatulas. What can I say? When you start getting into pizzas, certain things start to become a fascination, not least basil. I've spent a long time now refining my basil growing capability because I love the fact I can put homemade basil on my pizza. And this, let's get some. This is beautiful stuff. It's small, right? So it's got, it's not this big clump, like big leaves of basil that you often see in the supermarket. It's small, but it packs a punch. It's pungent, and you know, I always had a hunch, and I don't know if there's any science to this. I've always had a hunch that smaller versions of certain foods, natural foods, are always more tasty. When it comes to shrimp, when it comes to fish, when it comes to tomatoes, potatoes, if they're grown too big, they just lose their. I think the volume maybe means they lose the focus of the flavor a bit. I could be talking absolute rubbish, but it's just something which I have a hunch on. And this small basil I've grown myself. It's beautiful. Oh, it's got like an aniseediness to it, which, oh, love it. It's like a special chewing gum refresher. Lovely. Anyway, sorry, I digress. Yeah, this is another spatula I have, which is basically when you've got the dough balls sat in a tray of multiple dough balls in one place, they basically generally start to touch each other. It's very normal. You'll see it in professional Italian pizza kitchens. The dough balls start off separate. As they prove over time, they come to touch each other. And this is very nice because it allows you to get in, separate them, get up. Normally you flick a little bit of flour over it as well to make sure that you've got dried edges. You pull up the dough like that. That wouldn't be possible with this because it's too big and cumbersome. And it wouldn't be possible with this, which I'm going to talk about shortly because it's round. But yeah, this is really useful for me to get dough balls out and pass them around to a certain place. It probably cost the grand total of, I got this in Germany actually. I think this cost the grand total of like €3.50. Don't even think there's a name of a brand on it. Probably just got it off Amazon or something. But yeah, just get something like that. It's plastic, it's got a bit of flex to it. It's really good. Next up, another spatula. I should make some kind of magazine called Spatula Times or something because I spend enough time thinking about spatulas. It's worrying, you could say. This is by a company called Colorworks. I bought it in Monoprix, which, if anyone doesn't know, it's a kind of mainstream French supermarket chain. The good thing about this is that it allows you to get dough out of rounded environments. Say you've got your dough proofing for a couple of hours before you're going to bowl it up. This helps you just coach the dough out of the bowl onto your mat. And it's got a metal kind of substructure, so you can imagine there's probably metal all the way through here. It's got a nice soft rubber element to it here, which means that you can just prise it out of things. I'll show you with one of the next products I'm going to show you shortly how I use it, and yeah, for me it's really useful, and I definitely use that every time I make pizza. Everything I'm showing you today I use every time I make pizza. I'm not showing you anything just for the fun of it. I'm showing you stuff which I'm highly reliant on. Next is a non-stick kind of anywhere deployable mat. This one's called Perfect Pastry, made in France. It says SILPAT on it. I don't know if Perfect Pastry is the company and SILPAT's the model, or SILPAT's the company, Perfect Pastry is the model. Anyway, I don't use it for any of those kind of sizing elements. I'm sure it's quite useful for that if you need any sizing to be done. I just use it because it's got this lovely kind of veneer finish on it, which means that wherever I want to make pizza or do my dough balls or whatever, it just doesn't stick to this hardly at all. Much better than a wood or marble base. Super easy to clean. It's completely smooth. Nice bit of kit. I've been using it for months now. It's good as new. It's smooth on both sides, although I've never used it on the back. And yeah, I just think it's a quality product. My wife bought it. I didn't even know what it was. She bought it way before I got into pizza. And then one day she said, "You might want to try using that." I said, "Okay," and I've never looked back since. So bear it in mind. Almost there, guys. Two more items, I think. Oh, actually, one important thing is just a decent watch. You're constantly timing things when you make pizzas or use dough or whatever. So either a decent watch or a phone. I use an iPhone mini actually, and often I'm just saying to Siri, you know, tell me X, Y, Z. Time me 20 minutes from now. Remind me at 1:15 to take the dough balls out. Remind me tomorrow at 10:30 in the morning. I've got to take the dough balls out of the fridge. Siri's amazing. I don't know if you haven't tried using Siri before. If you own that Apple product, it's amazing. You say the word "Hey," and then you say the word SIRI. I'm not going to say it now because it'll activate Siri and distract me and be annoying. You say those two words, and it does anything for you. Really, really handy in your kitchen. Anyone who hasn't tried it, highly recommend it. Two more products to use to show you. One is the Ooni Stack. So I've done a couple of videos that feature this, more than a couple actually. I love it. So basically, this is where I proof my dough balls, or at least proof 3 of my dough balls from any one batch. I've only got one stack. I eventually intend to get hold of more, and you can see that they stack very nicely. I'm going to show you one individual. Let's not break it on camera. So this is one individual of the stacks. It's got this nice bamboo lid. You heard that kind of suction. It keeps that top one very airtight. The ones underneath are glass on glass, but it works perfectly fine as well. It's got a nice bit of everything Ooni to me always looks nice in terms of branding. Not over, just understated really. What I find is that let's say every week I make at least 2 batches of 6 to 8 dough balls, sometimes 10. What that means is, and I haven't got a separate fridge for my pizza dough. I have just used the family fridge, which is quite full already often. So what happens is if you have your dough balls, say you use a glass baking tray to proof your dough balls in the fridge, it takes up a lot of real estate in the fridge. The great thing about these is that they stack on top of each other, so you use that as your vertical real estate in the fridge for 3 dough balls. Whereas if you're using a glass baking tray, your real estate would be more like this, like literally 4 to 5 times the space as you look at it from a bird's eye. This, no, just 1, 2, 3 dough balls, bam. Yes, I'm doing more than 3 dough balls on a regular basis, so it'll be this plus a small baking tray or something like that. But it certainly saves space, and it's also, the other nice thing about it is you have the dough in there proofing. When it's ready to get out, you can see as it's coming out, you just ease it out with this blue spatula. I said I'd refer back to this in a second. This blue spatula is what I use to just get in those corners. Turn it upside down. You see the dough just kind of flop out slowly, bam, onto the, normally I have a cushion of flour for it to land on to make sure I get rid of any wetness of the dough before I shape it, put it on the peel and cook it. So yeah, these are great. Dishwasher safe, solid, can put up with some abuse. They're not like super delicate or anything. Pretty thick, solid glass, and use it every time I make pizza. Is there anything else? Actually, there is one more thing, and that is just this really good, like, bit of advice is always just wear an apron when you're making pizzas. It just saves dough getting stuck into your nice clothes, and also having a pocket or 2 on your apron is really handy, because I'm constantly, where's the phone, where's the thermometer, where's whatever bits and pieces, even toppings. Sometimes I'll have like a little jar in here of garlic oil or something. You can see down here it's got a thinner one for a knife. What brand is this? Is there even a brand on it? I don't know. No, I don't know. But it's just a kind of classic culinary apron, which I have used for many years now, and it is great. Okay guys, that is all of the products that I could think of that I use every time I make pizza. Hope you found it useful, hope it gave you some inspiration and maybe helps you up your game in the pizza world going forward. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, because it always helps just to get that kind of support. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching TRW Pizza. Bye.